Also, the little man seems to be accepting lights out, so I will shut down the camera. Switch to headset mic. Switch to headphone audio. The year 2016. Just gotta rearrange some windows here. Keep all my heads-up display. For this thing. Very strange, stand out. This is sure a thing that was made and sold. A fascinating artifact. Games business. This is Body Harvest. The logo there on the way in, DMA, the folks who went on to become one of the rock stars. This contains ancestral DNA of Grand Theft Auto. What if instead of making wacky crime, drama, comedy, instead of making densely packed movie references, they did some kind of vaguely serious space horror story? They also did Silicon Valley, Space Station, thereof, which in its own way also contains the DNA of the GTAs. Ah, an authentic DAD file. Delete. Alright, delete, test. That's the name you use in order to activate cheat codes as they were in ages past. At Jeff. Classic combination. Showing that the save battery on this is also fine. Though also, some N64 cartridges used more durable kinds of save ROM, and thus aren't relying on a coin battery to preserve their data. Who is Tengus? When is Tengus? Normal aim. You can invert the controls, right? Scoreboard. Now let's get in there. Tengus of the year 2016. So the lore here, which you would also see if you stayed on the title screen long enough to activate the second attract mode. In the distant future of 2016, Earth is besieged by terrible space bugs. Humanity destroyed swarms of locusts. Or indeed, for the last 100 years, every 25 years, as the Doom Comet passes near the Earth, Doomoids swarm out from its surface. So you have been sent back in time to fight the demons. And thus what you have here is a roam a big map using vehicles and various tools to interact with things. So instead of it being, like, at any point an open sandbox, it is a series of stages, at the end of which you fight a boss at the core, and then you move on to a fresh map that is a different place and a different time, and thus you get a different set of vehicles to work with. So right now we're here in Greece, shortly after the First World War. Let's see, what buttons can I remember? Car. Okay, good. Tutorials exist. So we have our basic pistol that has infinite ammo as a fallback, though it's not very strong. It's fine for most purposes that will exist. There's a civilian. There's a threat to civilians. The core gimmick. Mechanical conceit. We are here to prevent the body harvest. Those are the bodies. That was the harvester. So our second bar that we have there next to our health is... that's the doom counter. Every time a civilian dies for any reason, that bar goes up. If it fills, the bugs have hit their hunting quota, and they call the meteors to sterilize the hunt zone. Thus, your goal as you move through the map doing other things is also to, as much as possible, save people from bugs. Most buildings are destroyable. When destroyed, they will release more civilians who are at threat of being consumed. There are these segments where you're inside of buildings with this fixed camera angle. Many of these buildings will contain puzzles and secrets. Although the bugs aren't going to call the meteors on you because they're still trying to hit their quota. They want to collect the humans as food. A fun part of this, like the available light fixtures will change as you move forward in time. Here in the 1910s, it's almost entirely candles and oil lamps and fireplaces. Eventually, you will reach the point where there will just be a light switch in a given room. So let's see here. What's going on? In this town, is there anything I can acquire? Fake doors will be boarded up to mark them as inaccessible. Last time I tried to emulate this, it had a real rough time. Objects would not render properly. The world would be in constant flux. Let's see. Up C is adjust camera. D-pad, I think, is accessing your inventory once you have more weapons. Nico, I am borrowing your truck. Need to supply bullets into skulls. You can also, like... Yeah, you can aim. You have some arc of fire when you're just driving around in a normal vehicle. Eventually, if you get some sort of actual military vehicle with a turret on it, those are always great. The car in that building might be investigatable. Or there's a harvest I need to stop. Visible there in the corner of the eye. So the big ones, the harvesters, they will extrude little puddles of goop, which then ooze their way over to nearby civilians to try and grab them, drag them back. Some of the harvest waves are just on timers for when they will drop. So that creates pressure for you to move forward through an area. Others are attached to event flags to provide more of a structured chain of events for the scenario. You can note there, vehicles have fuel. You can run out of fuel and be forced to ditch your vehicle. Or find yourself looking for replacement jugs of fuel to keep a specific vehicle going longer. Okay, nothing there. There's that car there. It's probably less durable but faster than our truck. Why call the meteors when they could leave folks alone and come back later? They're rude. Church. Level geometry is sometimes a bit hostile to your ability to travel through it. Alright, what do you got? Do you have bullets for me? I'm from the future. You might have puzzles. Might have secret chambers. One of the main weak points of this, you get, like... To interrupt myself and go look at the map again. So each map is divided up into these segments behind shield walls. You get to save at the end of each section. You fight the processor over there, the local mini-boss. It dies, you get a save point. These sections get increasingly long as the game progresses. Like you can note already, so this one's a quarter of the map, this one's a quarter of the map, this one is the remaining half of the map. Some of these are ordeals. Ah, Gnostics. Local doomsday cult. They saw the comet. Stability went down. Can't put waypoints on the map, I don't think. Couple of fire trucks there, another regular truck. We're heading up into the hills. Then to the military hangar. Say there's an event where you get to use those fire trucks. Maybe it's at a later point in the map. It might be optional. If you had let the village catch fire, then you would be able to put out the fire. Let's go rustling around to these barrels. It's water, you drink. If it's gasoline, you drink. Okay, so those are locked right now. Be able to use them later. Got books? Fire of 1909. Are you closed? Second door there, or no, that's a window. Okay, right, yeah, the fuel pickup we got there is a consumable item. Spent at an appropriate time. Handgun is not strong enough to defeat Boulder. Let's find another tool. Oh, no, you don't. Or maybe you do. No, you don't. Let's get you on slightly more level ground. There we go. You're not allowed to slide sideways. Into the mines. To the many secret compartments of the mines. The inventor of tanks lives right here. And hold on, that dynamite box is also, because you need that. A machined gun. Because you need that dynamite, it is a bottomless box of it. Grab multiple. Not that they have much tactical use. These indoor segments always left the impression that you would never quite find everything in them. There'd always be some further Greeble or Gubbin hiding somewhere. It would open yet another passage. Yes, the dynamite lets me open that pass. Lets me head up into the... So every other weapon has ammunition limits. Except for, like, integrated weapons in vehicles. Dynamite? You wanna try that again, TNT? Try nitrotoluene. Okay, that one worked. Truck gone. Think about truck. How far would I have to wander to get another vehicle? All the way back to town, whatever. I have the mechanized gun. I can put this to use. Probably put at least one ambush on this road. Now they can be given the business. There's a little bit of auto-aim. It'll make up for the stiffness of the regular aim. There's another truck there. Motorcycle. Okay, back to hand gone. Good day, sir. Just like they put the interactable phonograph there. Is it for anything? Can I find a record? Field guide to sick-ass ramps that one should not hit. The behavior of delinquents and rogues. Motorized bicycle is a tool for economic individual transport. Do not sully it with acrobatics. Some car, motorcycle, 2 more buildings. Marvel at this low poly man. Marvel at the fact that he is a polygonal model. I could have sworn these guys were just sprites. But no, there's geometry here. There's voxel shading, vector shading, vertex shading. That's the word. He's only got 3 frames of animation. But they are fully rendered. Just a quick dip in the water barrel. Important to refresh yourself after being exploded with dynamite. Alright, what's in this tunnel? Bullet? And other thing that the weapon crystal. The sphere. Those are a collectible that unlocks something once you have enough of them. Some manner of ultimate weapon you assemble parts for as you proceed across the timeline. Other things it's good to feel with having this running. The state of the physical hardware. The N64 analog stick being remarkably good at its mechanical job, but notorious for existing on borrowed time. For eventually being ground down into dust. Fortunately, it takes speedrun levels of uptime to really stress that. know both of the controllers that I have here did live through some rentals of Mario Party, like Mario Party 1. I have my battle scars, I got blisters from Tug of War. Oh yeah, and sometimes they will, start a harvester wave actually quite far away from you. Will then be a challenge to figure out how to quickly and efficiently traverse the map, intervene before too much damage happens, which in this case, done by way of a certain sick-ass ramp that's around here somewhere. It's here. Is it? That's the regular bridge. Whatever, it's fine. Like, does not want to... Okay, there we go. That's just a geometry problem. Oh, this side is the one that has the ramp. Incidentally, if you are on foot while a harvester is active, the goop can attempt to grab you. Yeah, there we go. So now this town is on fire. So, take the ramp to quickly get back to the fire station. Become fire mobile. Or, fuck up the jump and die. Have to redo the entire map. You will drown. Powerful space armor is not waterproof. So I have to take the long way or any of these. If there's a second motorcycle right here, I can use to be more decisive about the ramp. Directly jump into you. Yes. Dialogue needed. Yeah, there's a fair amount of total runtime on this. There's, wow, a vehicle that is, like, driving autonomously on the road. It isn't just a stationary object. Waiting for player interaction. Yeah, each of the history maps, they get longer and more elaborate as you progress. And then after the 4 history maps, there is the end game, where you go to space. Having arrived back in the future, you go to the comet. So now... that opens the way to the hangar. Jeez, this way. Grumbling. Wood will protect us. The invaders never thought to plan around a fence. Where is the last one? Is that light over there? It's too powerful. Can I knock this fence down with a vehicle? No. It's made of the good wood. Veritable fortress. This thing I have done is unwise. There's a little bit present in the movement mechanics to try and let you unstick a vehicle, get it wedged in somewhere. Of course, it managed to jump the fence while we weren't looking. Okay, that's fine. Mines from earlier. They try so hard. And mostly succeed at getting vehicle mechanics to work on this low poly terrain. Anyway, Tonk. Here's a Panzer I in Greece. Behold the anachronism. Perhaps the tank is also a time traveler. Alright, and here's the backup option in terms of fighting vehicle. Here's an armored car with a machine gun. Here's the fighting vehicle that makes more sense for the time and place this is supposed to be. Just gun truck. And if I had remembered this was here, otherwise looked for it, that would have been available for the ride up to the hangar. Openable buildings here. No interiors to hope to loot. And your harvest gauge there persists across the entire chapter. So if you do poorly on an early map, that can compound. Anyway, here's a guy. Stage 1 is not built to be difficult. Stage 1-1. You get to have a good time. Points! You'll love to get points. If you happen to be standing where the beacon wants to land, you get, like, shoved out of the way at the last minute by powerful forces. You also get to warp between beacons, which feels like it's more an artifact of... There was definitely some point in the design of this where they wanted it to be more GTA-like. They wanted it to be free roaming. Fast travel points would be part of that. There's maybe one moment in the normal campaign progression where the beacon warps are useful. Is struggling to interact with the shape of this bridge. I don't know if the old GTAs had... No, like, the top-down ones didn't have fast travel, because they were, like, mission-based. And this is before the arrival of the 3D ones. Will time freeze if I go into the monastery? I feel like that bar is going to keep moving. Someone has to light the giant novelty candles. You should visit the local library to learn how to fight the demons. Lovingly rendered vehicle for the tech of the time. So much detail on this thing. Then it moves like it's a decoy. Like this is a balloon shaped like a Panzer I. living in that building. There is an armored car as a backup vehicle. Like, if you loaded in from save, the Panzer would not be there. You would have to go all the way back to the hangar to get a fresh one. So, accepting the armored car as a replacement. Sir? Sir. My points. Yeah, Binocular Robot is the onboard AI of the time boat. Just like physically sitting back at the spot where you first arrive on the map. They require me to visit the library to find out what I'm supposed to be doing. Or can I just sort of wing it? Simply approach the mountain and see if I recall what needs to be done. And fuel is used pretty effectively as a way to obstruct simply picking one good vehicle and riding it through the entire map. If you want to, you must scrounge for resources. Tickle the skeletons. Time to steal some artifacts. Okay, good. The puzzle information. It is still the start of the game. The information is in the room where you acquire the tool. Anyway. So now we have an Archimedes Death Ray. We have a mirror shield. sir. Sir. This might force me to leave the tank anyway. See, the statues are hollow. Yeah, I might need to orchestrate and archive a full playthrough of this. If I get my hands on some sort of EverDrive, then I could sideload things. It's good to see that the direct capture of the analog video here is reasonably crisp. It's still as it was for the PSO streams. Composite into cheap upscaler box into proper HDMI to USB 3 capture cube. The physical cartridge of Hybrid Heaven that I own is also sitting in the same container that this one was. Yes, now we have the Death Ray for the rest of the map. It's about as good as the machine gun, and has infinite ammo. Act 1, Body Harvest, takes it pretty easy. The difficulty dials up in Act 2, and then 3, and then 4. Some kind of actively slippery bio goop. Okay, another tank. Will you be out of... Oh, you're good. Oh, there we go. Hey, there we go. Here's the tank that's supposed to be here. Yeah. Give me the crock. Rhomboid tank. With cannon. With recoil. Oh yes, and this time our destination is an island. One must perhaps boat up. Nope, this is a Mark 1. This is a proper World War I era battling tank. It has 2 cannons in the sponsons on the side. And various machine gun and rifle ports for the crew of 27. Or like 6 or 8, I think. The crew of way too many guys. Proper land ship. Boats detected. Bleep. Also, fuel economy gives you a reason to use normal cars, even after you have combat vehicles like the tanks. You want to save their fuel for going into places where there will be enemy resistance. Instead, use a civilian vehicle for rapidly zipping around. Hello. Hello. A buddy. Give them what for? Yeah, there were some tanks of the first generation that found the body plan of having turret on top. They were usually the light ones, though. Wide boy there is more the plan for an assault gun of the era. Since during trench fight, being tall is a good way to get shot. Not particularly practical to use the cannon here. Just lean out the window with the pistol. Some weather, huh? Yeah, like the combat role of the White Boy, of the rhomboid tank, was to be used very closely with the infantry formations that it was assisting, sir. Sir. To be a battering ram with guns. To crunch its way without hesitation through barbed wire. Moving at about walking speed. To be a mobile pillbox. Spraying lead on everyone and everything. Turrets becoming a mandatory core feature falls out of, like, the eventual natural question of, alright, what happens when a tank meets another tank? And all the dynamics that flow from that. Alright, I don't know where I need to get the Howitzer 2 in order to clear this obstacle that they speak of. Boats detected. I probably need to destroy the gate itself. First though, trucking. What is over here? Bullets and a stack of tires. Alright, let's roll. Okay, I think that did the job for blockage. Though now... Okay, I do need to just walk over there in order to fight those guys. So, head down to the coast, swim, eventually use that boat. Well, yeah, I may as well use that boat to get up there. And there are more boats nearby. whole mechanism of the harvest waves is neat. All the different enemy types have roles that they play in the process. Okay, the windmill must be the place to go here. Is the bread secure? Anyway. You can find water, you can find fuel or health in water barrels. Anyway, sir. I don't know why I need this stone, but I'm taking your stone. Or I'm taking your gears. Right, to repair the mechanism for the canal. It is the 90s. It is the future according to the 90s. Man can be made entirely of shoulder pads. It looks like there's nothing in the main building. There's that hatch on the side. Sirs? Yes, enter the dungeon. Enter the labyrinth and claim my weapon crystal. Oh, there we go. Also, one of the artifacts. That's the other collectible that becomes a super weapon at some point. Maybe. Bones that open doors. I've rattled his bones, and I heard the sound of a door opening. Further back up. Is that preventing me from walking back out or something? The session ends at the end of this level. Up. Nearly the island. Now, in order to engage with the processor, I should get sure. Fire the beam. There's a vehicle over there. Open Okay, that's an exit boat. think I can just damage raise this. Yes. Maybe get that last drop of health. Right, the big health that drops from the thing itself. Points! Bodies harvested.